Hello, hello, hello! It's time to take a look back at last month and the most popular indie games released in July. It is still crazy to me that there are so many of these clicking games that are still being made. I think I counted in the top 20 of the most played games in July. There are like 7 of these click games still. And of course it looks like all of these games have faked their play count and that's why they're so high up on the list. But come on, like are they still making money? It's crazy. But let's move on from that and look at the most played indie games released in July. First up in 10th place we have Cataclismo. It hit an all-time peak of around 3,100 players and have a 24-hour peak of 1,100. It has a 93% positive reviews, that's insane, and a Twitch peak of 26,000. The game cost $30. I did a video on Cataclismo just the other day, link for that one in the description. I really like this game. It's a very good real-time strategy game with some pleasant graphics. It's fairly standard in how it plays and what it delivers. The interesting thing about this game is the freedom in the building aspect of the game. You can basically build brick by brick, and then you have defined waves attacking you from time to time. Well worth checking out this game. It is in early access and will stay there for about a year, so keep that in mind. In 9th place we have Stormgate. It hit an all-time peak of 4,800 and have a 24-hour peak of 1,000. It sits at 64% positive reviews and on Twitch it peaked at 56,000. This was however 8 months ago, so probably a showcasing or an alpha or something. The game cost $25. Stormgate is also a real-time strategy game. Cataclismo is however focusing on single player while Stormgate is focusing on PvP. There is a single player campaign in this one as well. The game is developed by former StarCraft developers. I haven't looked into how many or what their position at Blizzard were, but they seems to be clearly passionate about RTS games, enough to make their own. The campaign in the game can be played in co-op, while the main focus of the game is the one-on-one PvP mode. Then you also have a MOBA-inspired game mode in the game, which sounds kind of interesting to me. The game is in early access, so things like the campaign isn't done, and there are a lot more that needs to be implemented in the game. So far the community kind of split on the game. There is some balancing and other things that need to be worked out, but hopefully they can win over the players that are on the fence and have a positive 1.0 release when that rolls around. In 8th place we have Kaku Ancient Seal. It hit an all-time peak of 5,000 and have a 24-hour peak of 168, so a clear drop-off after release. It has 88% positive reviews, really good, and a Twitch peak of 14,300, so probably a showcasing or an early alpha or something. The game costs $25. So this is a single-player open-world action-adventure game, and that's probably why you see the drop-off in players. I think the game looks great. I get some Dragon Quest vibes from the graphics, a bit rounder and softer edges on everything. The game has a large world to explore with what looks like a fairly robust combat system. The game seems to have Zelda-esque dungeons and puzzles to overcome as well. The story seems to be a regular hero saving the world type story. Overall I'm interested in the game and a lot of people seems to like it as well. In 7th place we have The Crust. It hit an all-time peak of 5,100 and have a 24-hour peak of 1,600. It has 73% positive reviews and a Twitch peak of 6,900. The game cost $30. The Crust is a base builder that takes place on the moon. Your goal here is to automate a base on the moon, explore it, mine it, craft and so on. The game seems expansive with a lot of feature and a narrative story that takes you through the game. It's been in development for 5 years and now it's finally dropped into early access. The developers have a roadmap for the game and plan to launch the game into 1.0 within 8 to 12 months. In 6th place we have Yowling Mythical Journey. It hit an all-time peak of 6,800 and has a 24-hour peak of 1,100. It has 90% positive reviews. Insane. And the Twitch peak is 2. The game cost $20. Yeah, it's not a popular streaming game, clearly. I played the demo for this game a while back and I really liked how it plays and what they're trying to do with the game. It's an RPG set in a semi-open world where these Yowlings are roaming around, much like animals. You can capture them and then use them in combat. They can also be used in the game's hub town to help out there as well. The combat in the game is automated. You get to place the Yowlings on the battlefield battlefield before the battle starts, then during the battle you can assist them with different things, but you can't really command them, they're fighting on their own. But yeah, it seems to be a very solid title with 90% positive reviews. In 5th place we have Sword of Convalaria. It hit an all-time peak of 9,900 and have a 24-hour peak of 8,600. It has 72% positive reviews and a Twitch peak of 5,500. That was, however, 12 months ago, so probably also a showcasing of the game or something like that. The game is free to play, however. So I've actually played this game a bit. I played it on my mobile because it's available on mobile as well. And that's kind of why I didn't want to make a video of it. The core of the game is really good. It has that turn-based strategy game feeling like Final Fantasy Tactics, only a bit streamlined to be easier played on mobile. The structure is not what I expected though. It has much smaller levels and a hub detached from the world. I thought the game was gonna have a stronger narrative that was more interesting. But yeah, the game is a gacha game at its core, and that brings with it all that a gacha game is. It's kind of a shame. If this was a fully fledged JRPG like Final Fantasy Tactics, this would have been amazing, I think. But I think you can get a lot out of the game for free if you want to. But yeah, it is a gacha game. In 4th place we have Norrland. It hit an all-time peak of 11,800 and have a 24-hour peak of 3,200. It has 78% positive reviews and an all-time peak on Twitch with 21,800. The game costs $30. Norrland is a simulation strategy game taking place in the medieval era. As the leader of a noble house, it's your job to make your city and kingdom great. That brings with it a lot of conflict, like religion will be a factor, political treachery. You will have to manage the common folk as you build and conquer. The game looks huge and very impressive. There seems to be so much you can do in the game and so much to manage. I really hope the freedom is there in the game. But yeah, I'm very interested to try this game. It is in early access and aims to stay there for about a year, so polish and more features will surely be added. In 3rd place we have Lost Castle 2. It hit an all-time peak of 20,200 and have a 24-hour peak of 7,800. It has 72% positive reviews and a Twitch peak of 6,500. The game costs $15. Lost Castle 2 is a side-scrolling beat-em-up with roguelike elements. Can be played in co-op as well. The game offers a lot of variety. You have over 200 different weapons and armors to customize your playstyle with. Then you also have over 130 treasures that have different effects, and you want to collect these in order to become stronger. You of course have a bunch of bosses to defeat and locations to visit. Looks kind of fun. This one is also in early access and will stay there for about a year as well. And it seems like the developers aim to add more of everything into the game. In 2nd place we have Dungeonborn, a very similar game to Dark and Darker. It hit an all-time peak of 39,300 and a 24-hour peak of 20,700. It has 67% positive reviews and a Twitch peak of 86,800. Damn. The game is free to play. I'm guessing the game might have a tier in the game that it costs, so you get more access to different things, or a shop, I don't really know. But you can at least try the game and play a bunch of it for free. Dungeonborn is a PvPvE type game, kind of an extraction shooter but in a fantasy setting. It looks a bit more flashy and a bit faster than Dark and Darker, and that's just from me looking at the trailer. On Steam it sits at a mixed rating. Reading a few reviews reveals that balancing needs a bit of work, and the same goes for the matchmaking. The game dropped into early access last month and will stay there for about 3 to 6 months, so hopefully they can fix the balancing and matchmaking in that time. And in the number 1 spot we have 7 Days to Die. It finally hit 1.0, pretty nuts. The game entered early access way back in 2013. It took them almost 11 years to complete this game. It hit an all-time peak of 125,000 and have a 24-hour peak of 94,000. It has 88% positive reviews and a Twitch peak of 92,600. The game is kind of expensive, $45, but I'm assuming it has stepped up in price as the development have continued. 7 Days to Die is a first-person survival shooter. It's also an open world, has RPG elements and tower defense as well, kind of in it. The theme of the game is obviously zombies, and you're trying to survive in a post-apocalyptic world. The game have everything you can expect from a survival shooter with zombies, and probably plenty more. It's been around forever, so they have probably added everything that is good about these genres. But yeah, kind of amazing that it finally hit 1.0 and that the game is doing well. A lot of players seems to have fun in the game. Don't forget to leave a like if you liked the video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.